Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Patrick Dahlin and today we're going to talk about how professional athletes cut weight. And there's one specific thing they do that you probably don't do or are probably not even aware of that they do differently. So if this is interesting for you, I suggest you stay around until the end of the video. And if you like it, don't remember, like, subscribe, share, and let's tune in. So who am I and why would I know anything about how professional athletes are cutting weight? There's two places that information comes from. One is my private life, if you say so. I started a martial arts studio when I was 18 or something. So I've been training a lot of fighters and they always have to cut weight. I've been competing myself also in grappling, jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and even MMA. And I also have a professional career. I started up in pharmaceutical industry, research and development, and then transitioned to the supplement industry where I was a nutritional and supplement expert. And at this company, we had something like 50 athletes sponsored. So they, of course, came for nutritional and supplemental advice to me. And they were within athletic fitness, bodybuilding, various type of martial arts, and a few track and field and other type of athletes. And what they all had in common were that they needed to be at a very low body fat percentage when competing. And of course, for fighters, they need to be at a specific weight also. So there is where from this information come. And before we get to it, some general things they do that you also probably have heard before, but might not be aware of or might be curious about how they do it. And then I will reveal something that I do not think you're aware of, something they do completely different to how most people does it or most weight loss gurus even talk about it. Is there a specific diet they use? Not really. They all use various type of diets. So that is nothing unique there. If anything is more common, it probably is the kind of half boring rice and chicken diet. They eat then a high protein, low fat diet, just rice and chicken, and they might eat that 3, 4, 5 times a day, 3, 4, 5 weeks or months before competition, with some variations, but not much variation, to be honest. That is perhaps something more common than anything else, but you have all of it in there: vegan, low carb, ketogenic, paleo, or just some more nuanced average type of diet. One common thing though is that pretty much all of them are high protein. Maybe with the exception of the ketogenic people, they sometimes are a little bit more moderate protein, even though some of them also go high protein. So that they have in common. Something else they have in common is they almost always count the calories. They weigh their food and they count the calories rigorously. And there's two ways they do this. The most intuitive way is to weigh your food every day. And if you have tried that or just thought about it, you realize it will be quite cumbersome or quite a burden to always weigh your food. Is boring and takes time maybe. So what some of them do is that they weigh their food on maybe Monday and Tuesday, and then they repeat whatever they ate on Monday, Tuesday for the rest of the week or the rest of the month. And they often prepare it for 1 week at a time, put it in the freezer, take it up and have a prepared meal, already weighted, and they just eat. So these are some of the tricks they use to not spend the entire day of just weighing food. And okay, what is specifically unique about them that you probably are doing the opposite? It is the way they approach it. If they have 12 weeks before, they need to be at a specific weight. They start with cutting back a little bit, maybe 300 calories the first week. And how do most people do it? They do the opposite, at least the ones I have been meeting and coaching or just seeing on YouTube. If they go ketogenic, they start up super strict and maybe have a 3-day fast. If they go vegan, they go super vegan, just raw vegan, a lot of veggies, so they get a good start, get a few good pounds or kilos the first week off. And then after that, they expand a little bit and look at some keto cookies if they are on keto, or some vegan-friendly snacks if they are vegans. And they kind of expand what they eat because it becomes boring to just eat very super strict. But most people are very keen to get that fast result, to get a good start. The professional athletes do exactly the opposite. They start very, very slowly, just cutting like maybe 300 calories first week. Then maybe next week they increase energy expander with 100, 200 calories. Often from walking, but that doesn't mean walking is superior or anything. It just means that for them who already are doing maybe strength training 5 times a week, cardio 5 times a week, whatever sport they're doing, maybe 10 times a week. Their body cannot tolerate too much more pounding, so they need to do something easy to add more calories or to burn more calories. And also the calories they do, they might cut back to 3,300 from 3,600. That's 50, 60, 70% more than most people eat to stay at the steady state. If you eat that much, you will gain loads of it every week probably. So they start with cutting back a little bit, and then maybe a couple of weeks down the line, and then they weigh themselves very regularly, and then they see, okay, I've lost 1.5 kilos, so I'm a little bit behind schedule, which was kind of planned. So then they cut down more. Now they go down to maybe 600 calories in deficit. And maybe increase the activity. Not everyone increase both. Some actually just increase activity. If they have that room, they might start to walk 1 hour a day, then 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. Or maybe some light running if they are more in the endurance, if they're fighters, some things they used to run. But bodybuilders, for example, they're so heavy they would destroy the knees if they run too much. So walking is the main option for them. And some just cut the calories, some just add more activities, but most do both. And they add a little bit more every week, little bit more, little bit more, little bit more. So it's actually progressive, just as you do progressive overload with training, which I think most people have heard of, that you need to increase the weight slightly every week, or you increase the number of sets you do every week or bi-weekly, or you increase the mileage you run 10% or something every week. They do the same when they cut weight, but they increase the calorie deficit a little bit every week for maybe 12, 16 weeks period often. Can be shorter also if they get a call about a fight 4 weeks from now, then they need to be a little bit more hardish on themselves. And in that way, they keep the weight loss going, because when you start, usually it goes pretty well. And then after a few weeks, the body starts to resist, tries to make you hungry, tries to fight you, make you lazy, tries all kind of tricks, because it thinks you're starving. But then they just increase the deficit a little bit more, so you keep having like a linear decline in weight and body fat. And this is something that I think at least some people that are not professional athletes could use and benefit greatly from. And I know that the reason most people don't use it is that you want to see fast results. But with fast results, you usually also lose it fast. Some weeks later, you have been pushing the body down so much that it just goes crazy and tries to get you to eat. Then you're okay, I will just eat for today. But then you go totally bananas that day. And the next day, okay, it was a Friday, so maybe I will just take the weekend off. Yeah, good luck to start that on Monday. I mean, and you destroy it very fast. If you lose fast, you go up fast. So it is difficult for that reason. And also, even if you do not lose it, just like, okay, you're eating the bare minimum and the body resists, what more can you do now? This is somewhat, it's like, if one starts a training program, and let's say the most your body can handle is 30 sets of strength training per week, per muscle. I mean, and then you don't start with 30 then. You maybe start with 3 sets per week if you're a beginner, or 6 sets, twice a week, 3 sets each time. And then you build it up, and you can build for a year until you go up to 30 sets per week. You don't start at 30 because, okay, you have great progress, but then you stop. But if you start at 3 sets, build it up to 6 sets, 10 sets, 12 sets, 15, and so on, week by week, then you will keep a progress for a very long time. And the same weight loss, you start with a little bit of cut, your progress, you cut a little bit more, cut a little bit more, cut a bit more. Maybe if you have a lot of weight to lose, you do take a couple of weeks of steady, not overeat, you go up again, but you go up to your normal level of calories. At least for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, if you have a weight loss that will take, let's say, a year to do. You do this for a couple of months, you have some steady state weeks for a few weeks, and then you go back to it. And then you go back to just a little bit of weight cut, 300 calories, and then you increase that, so you can keep going for a long time. It's much more sustainable, number one. Number two, it's much easier to burn fat and preserve your muscle mass, or even increase muscle mass, depending on some details how you do this. And it's not only more sustainable for the body itself, also for your mind, psychologically. So that was it. That is the big difference. The average Joe just go bang in there, start really hardcore to have a very good first week. Want to see 3, 4, 5 kilos the first week. Then they're happy this works. The professional athletes are very slow. They do their macros, they calculate everything, and then they know 300 calories, I should lose some weight, I should lose some body fat. The scale doesn't move much the first week because just your fluctuation in water content could hide it. But they know their energy expenditure, they know exactly what they're eating, so they trust the process. And of course, if they don't see anything after 2 weeks or so, then they start to adjust. But if they experience, they already know when they start. Even though they don't see anything day 1, day 2, day 3, you see nothing maybe on the scale. So then it's tempting to just stop eating for 3 days and then try to move over to whatever weight loss method you prefer, because you got this great start, so to say. But the great start can lead to a disastrous ending instead. Not always, of course. So I'm not saying one way is always better. I'm just saying this is an alternative option that I think many are not really aware of, haven't thought of, or even if you've thought of it, you're not aware of that this is how most pros do it, and they're always successful. I mean, it's really rare you hear anyone showing up to fighting, boxing or wrestling or MMA, and they couldn't make the weight. It happens, but it's very rare. And when it happens, usually it's because they couldn't take the last 4 or 5 kilos in the sauna, which is hard on the body and the mind, and that is no point to do, really, just to lose weight, because it's not body fat. But that's something specific for them. But that is how they do it, so maybe it's something for you to consider. If you like this, don't remember, share, subscribe, and comment, ask questions. Have proposals for other videos, other topics I should look into. Maybe they become a video. Thanks for looking today, and see you soon again.